What's up, everybody? Thanks for joining us on another episode of Beautiful Build. We're here working on the camper truck. If you don't remember, this build started as a desire to have a camper van, but we needed it to be able to go off-road, to be able to tow our race cars, and have a little bit more space inside than your average camper van. So we bought this crashed Ram 3500 at auction. We started by fixing all the front end crash damage and even replacing the dented frame rails. And then we got it running and driving properly again for the first time and started jumping into our camper mods, which were pulling the rear truck bed off, building the camper floor, framing out the camper and the sleeping corridors, framing the whole habitat. In the last episode, we framed out all of the walls that you see here. And now we're gonna be moving on to skinning the walls. In today's episode, we got a ton of sheet metal and we're gonna be applying it to all of the different walls, all the different facets, and this thing's really gonna come to life and you're gonna see the shape that we have modeled up and envisioned for this camper truck to be. Stay tuned. All right guys, so we're about to get started skinning this thing. We're gonna be using 20 gauge sheet metal, which means we're gonna have to have a decent amount of reinforcement behind it. We're also gonna be using seam sealer or else 20 gauge sheet metal without bead rolling will flap in the wind. So it's gotta be supported. Another thing, I've read all the comments. This is a heavier way of building it. We're doing it to keep it on a budget. I did wanna let you guys know though that minus the original truck bed weight, we took that guy off, that about 460 pounds of this 1 inch by 1 inch bar. The sheet metal, at maximum, we've done the square footage, is about 500 pounds of sheet metal that we're gonna be applying in this episode if we get the whole thing wrapped up in this episode. So we're at 1,000 pounds of additional weight, and this truck with its 5,000 pound payload can take way more than that. So we're still within what we would call the weight requirements, and we're thousands and thousands of pounds under the gross vehicle weight. So although steel is not the lightest thing to be working with, it is the most cost effective and it's the most readily available. So that's why we are blazing a trail down that path. Now let's get some sheet metal on here. Show you the first section that we're gonna start working on. Here at BS for Build, we usually do ugly early, but when it comes to something like this, like sheet metaling this in, we gotta try and get every piece exactly as flat as we can. And to do that, I think the thing is we should start with is easy early. That way we get practice and get practiced. That way when we move on to the harder parts, we'll have learned a few things. The key here today is going to be not to get waves in the panels so everything looks perfectly straight and professional. This is a flat face, and a flat panel runs from here to our door opening right here. Let's get it on. All right guys, we got our first few pieces on. They are looking really, really good. I think we're ready to move on to some of the harder stuff. Here we go. I'm so excited to see how this thing is coming together now that we're getting more pieces on. It's just really, it's coming to life. Now you guys know that this is our outdoors adventure vehicle. As we travel around the country, we can do fun things. And one of those fun things that we like to do, me and Oscar especially, is fishing, which is a great segue into our sponsor for today, because today's episode is sponsored by Fishing Clash. Fishing Clash is a really fun mobile game centered around fishing. It's got great graphics and allows you to travel all around the world to different fishing locations, and you can fish from a boat or you can fish from shore. And I personally love how you can learn about all the different fish that you're catching. And it's got an RPG aspect to it, so you can continuously upgrade your skills for more advanced fishing, and you can upgrade your lures and your rods, and you can use all that to compete with other fishers. That's right, there is a PvP aspect to this game, which is awesome. You can play against other real players in real life. You can play against your friends by joining the duels. It's a PvP part of the game that is super, super cool. And there are also weekly competitions that you can enter. Play against people like me. I'm in one right now. So guys, if you want to help out and you want to support our channel, this is a new game that we're showing you guys on the channel. It's totally free, and I'll be very honest, when you go hit that link and you download the game, it helps support the channel. So go check it out. The link is at the top of the description. It's free to download. It's a really fun game to play. I love the different scenery that you get and the different visuals from the different fishing locations as well. So go download it by using the QR code on the screen right here, or clicking my link at the top of the description, and you can take part in the St. Patrick's Day event. Use my special code. My code is CAMPER. Easy to remember. We're building a camper truck. The code is CAMPER, and you'll get a special reward valued at $20 for free. With my gift code CAMPER, you're going to get 1 unique avatar, 1 mythical lure card, 50 luck power-ups, and 30 weight power-ups to help you catch bigger fish. To redeem that gift code, just follow these 3 simple steps. Guys, it's a great game. Go check it out. Thanks to Fishing Clash for sponsoring this episode. Let's get down to work. All right, now that we got the sides of the habitat done, they're looking really, really good. I love these facets in here. A lot of this is just cosmetic. We did it just because it's going to add to the shape. And yes, there's a molding, like a trim piece that goes on each facet. Hopefully we'll show that to you in this episode. If not, you'll see it in the next. And that's why some of these edges aren't exactly perfect. It's because they get covered by a trim piece that's going to just really put the icing on the cake. But we got the sides done, so let's go ahead and jump into the roof and do a lot of fun overhead welding. Check it out, guys. The roof is done. This is so cool looking. Got all the added support in there so we won't have jiggly sheet metal. The roof and the side facets are done. We don't have that back facet. Let me climb up on the ladder here and show you guys. We have a roof. So there are some big seams, and we have to full weld the seam and then grind it down, and then on the inside it'll be seam sealed, and then obviously it'll be Raptor linered on top of that. So I'm not too worried about water, like we're gonna do our due diligence when it comes to waterproofing this thing. But the other thing I gotta mention is this is high up, guys. Like this is this roof is high up. So in the front here, this is gonna be about 9 foot 10 or 11 inches. And the back here, it's about 10 foot 1 or 2 inches tall. And that garage door right over there is 10 feet tall. So as we weigh down the back and as we put all the sheet metal on here, we are hoping that the suspension will compress. Hey, you guys want to do another measurement? Let's measure the roof just for fun. Now that we've added the sheet metal, like, let's see if our, let's see how much our suspension has compressed. Let me get down from here without dying. Both hands, Chris. Oh, but if we have Kyle standing in the back, it's going to be cheating. It's going to compress the suspension. I know you're not fat. It just, dude, this suspension compresses a lot. Like, Kyle, jump up and down on the back a little bit. Yeah, it really gets its wiggle on. Well, we'll see with one Kyle plus the new sheet metal. Where are we at?
Right at 10 feet.
Right at 10 feet. Okay, so I think the Kyle is that extra 1 inch of compression that we got, honestly. So, Kyle's feeling bad. Don't feel bad. If I got on there, we'd have 2 inches of compression. So we know that as long as we have one driver in the front seat and the 3 of us standing in the back here, that we'll be able to get it down. We also had the option of flattening the tires. And we still have some more sheet metal to go, but this is the majority of the weight that's going to go on the back. So yeah, the suspension compressed maybe about a ½ inch from our added sheets. But yeah, so the roof is on, and we're working our way towards the front. The goal for the end of today is to have all of the facets, which are the more technical part, and then the front sleeper box all sheeted in. And then in the next episodes, we can start working on our cosmetic trim pieces that fill these seams in and all that type of stuff. So we're gonna go ahead and get some of the big pieces in, some of the supports and the big pieces in the sleeper box, and get these facets filled in as well. Kyle for scale. It's the biggest thing we've built in the smallest shop that we've had. Well, that's not true. Our other shops, our OG shop, which we still have, by the way, is technically smaller. This thing wouldn't even fit in the garage door of that one. So the up top camper part is skinned in. The facets are skinned in. It looks really, really cool. A big part of this, working with the sheet metal, is to keep the waves out of it, and we did a great job of keeping the waves out of it. And as we tested out a little bit of the cosmetic trim stuff, as we get the trim on here everywhere, it's gonna just keep looking cooler and cooler. Let me show you what the back looks like. It is so cool. It's all closed in now, so we had to put lights in there, but man, this is like, it's super cool. It gets really real about what it's gonna look like and feel like.
Very spacious.
It's super spacious. I love that I can stand in here and I've still got, wow, I've got a lot.
I love that I can see.
Yeah, Kyle's a good 3 inches taller than me, but yeah, we have you know, over half the room. So it's pretty cool. It shows you how small looking now our hole is to get back into the cab. But I mean, that's the size of the cab in relation to our massive camper. And getting up here into the sleeping area, it is looking nice and spacious. So this is long enough to fit a queen size bed running from the front to the back here, queen size mattress. It won't even fill the whole width, so the idea is storage will run along there, and then windows there, and there. So a lot of light coming in from the sides. We opted against windows in the top here because one, I want to put solar panels there, and two, it can bring in a lot of heat, and this is probably where I'm going to be sleeping, and I like to sleep in at my track events and things like that, and I don't want to get roasted from a window there, so we opted out on that. We'll have nice insulation there to keep that heat out, and the side windows to get a nice view. And then from the inside, window, door, same thing on the other side. This is our door space, window, window, then the rear section, and a massive rear window. So we're gonna have a lot of light in here and a lot of doors, and it's gonna be awesome. It's already awesome. In the next episode, we're gonna work on our trim pieces, that where every piece of sheet metal meets, every time there's like a seam and there's an angle change, it gets a nice cosmetic trim piece. And then we're gonna frame in our doors and our windows as well, which is gonna start making it all even more real. This is so cool. It is so freaking massive. And before we go, just a reminder to go download Fishing Clash. The link is at the top of the description. I've also pinned a comment at the top of the comments. Let me know the biggest fish that any of you guys have caught on the game, and let me know what you think about the game. And as always, please remember to like and subscribe so you don't miss any more of these builds or builds we do in the future, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace!